Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Simply Cards by Kathi. I'm Kathi Ondas, and today is Thursday, March the 21st. Happy spring. I know it started right before midnight yesterday, so I hope you're having a good day. Today, I wanted to talk to you about how to add texture and dimension to your cards. And I think that's something we all do, and we do it pretty easily, but I think we do it through using embossing folders to add that texture. And usually it's to a background. We use dimensionals or pop-ups to add some height to some of our die cuts in that. We use embossing powder to add a little bit of texture. Oftentimes it's for a sentiment. And then there are stamps, such as one of the new ones that Stampin' Up! Just came out with that is in the online exclusives called Textured Timber. But today I'm going to show you how to kind of incorporate some of these into your card in ways that you may not use them. Hi, Mary. Thank you for joining me. It is cool but sunny here in Cleveland, Ohio, too. So if you have questions as we go along, please post them in the comments. I promise to try to look at them as we're going on and answer your questions. And we're going to get started. So let me switch you over to my desktop. All right. Now, the stamp set I'm using today, I'm not focusing on the stamp set, but I am using the Hello Ladybug, and it's getting ready to retire. And it is one of my favorites. I think it's so cute. But I'm also focusing on what we call background dies. And if you don't know what I mean, I'm going to show you a couple of them. One of the ones that I think people are most familiar with is probably this dots and spots. It cuts out the holes. In fact, it almost looks like Swiss cheese when you cut it out. And if you layer it on something, you have a beautiful colored background. So that's one. And I believe this one is retiring. And I think these get passed up a lot. So if there's something you're interested in, kind of take notice now. And you may want to order it, especially even before we go on to the retiring list. Now today, one of the backgrounds I'm using, I love this. It's the Brilliant background dies, kind of a mouthful. And we're going to use this one. And you're going to see it really gives some beautiful texture, but we're going to also add some dimension to it. Now, this is a 2-die set. It comes with this one, and it comes with another one that almost looks, I don't know, to me, it looks like petals, but it also looks like maybe the pattern of a bee as they're flying around. And here's this one, just to give you an idea. The background dies do not punch out unless it's necessarily, I take that back. They don't necessarily punch out. With the dots and spots, it certainly did. But with this one, the Brilliant background dies, this one does not punch out. It just gives you this beautiful background design. So I'm going to set this off to the side, and we're going to use this one. And I'm going to show you how to use it. So this is you're going to use it just like you would any die. So we're going to start off with a piece of basic white, and this is 3 3/4 by 5. And I want to be able to add it. I want to put it a little bit on the diagonal. You can see it's almost a little bit bigger. It does fit my cardstock this way, but I want to add even some more interest just by putting it a little bit on an angle. So we're going to do that, and I am going to bring in my cut and emboss machine. And this is the big one, and I know it's close up, and I apologize for that. But it is also, I kind of want you to be able to see it, so we're just going to go with it because it's going to be such a short period of time. Now, I am using plate number 1, plate number 2, and then my 2 number 3s. So I am putting this one down, and then I'm just going to take my piece of paper with my die and lay it on here. I'm going to pull back a little bit here, and I know it's difficult to see. Let's bring it in a little bit here. And I'm just going to run it through, just like you normally would any other die. So it's the same sandwich that you would use if you were die cutting a flower or a leaf or anything else. Let's move this over and take this off. Now, remember I said some of these background dies cut out and some don't. This one does. And you can see, and I need to kind of poke these out here. If I run it through twice, they kind of come out on their own, but I only ran it through once. But easy. You also have that brush at the end of your pick tool if you want. But this is going to even give us a little bit more texture and dimension. And I'm going to show you why right here. There we go. So I'm going to move this off. So look at that. Isn't that a beautiful die cut? I think it's going to make a really pretty background. So I thought I would mount this on a piece of, this is Retiring Parakeet Party. Hi, Kathy. Thank you for joining. You're also cool and sunny. So I want to mount this. Now, I'm going to lay it or mount it, frame it, mat it, whatever word you want to use, on this Parakeet Party. But as I do that, I only want to put glue around the solid parts that are not cut out. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to add it in between here. I was so excited to show you these dies. And I think I'd be interested to see how many have noticed them in the catalog, and they are getting ready to retire. But I have to be honest with you, these are ones I'll be keeping because I think they add so much to your card and in such an easy way. Okay, so with this, I'm just going to go ahead and mount it. My Parakeet Party is 4 by 5 1/4. All right. So there's our background. Now look at that. You can see the green through the punched out holes, yet you have the texture of that background die. All right. Next, I thought it'd be fun to use that little ladybug. So we're going to stamp a leaf, and I'm going to use Granny Apple Green for that. So let's bring in our Granny Apple Green. Hi, Carla. Thank you for watching. Mary, you never saw them. They are in the annual catalog, and they are on that retired list, and I am so bummed. So I'm going to ink up my stamp with the Granny Apple Green, and I am just going to give it a good press. I am using my piercing mat because it is a photopolymer stamp, and I really feel I do get a better image with the mat. Now, there is no die for this, so by the magic of television, I fussy cut our leaf, and we're going to use that on our base. So let's see. Let's just kind of lay it here and see where we may put that. And I'll use that one later. And then we're going to use some stamps from our little ladybug. So I did go ahead and I'm going to bring in the punch. And I want to show you, if you've not seen it, and this one is retiring also. I have to admit, I am so bummed that so much is retiring. And I never even got a chance to look at that retirement list until earlier today. So I'm just going to go ahead and use a basic black, and I'm going to punch out my little body. Okay. Next, I'm going to come on over here, and we're going to stamp the wings for our little ladybug. And those little wings have two stamps to them, one for her dots and one for her wings. So I'm going to grab my block here, and we're going to stamp these real red. Now the wings will also cut out of that punch. So let's go ahead and ink this up. Yes, Mary, I am with you. The ladybug set is retiring, but I will still be using it, at least for myself. So we're going to go ahead and stamp our wings. And if you haven't used this, let's go ahead and stamp the dots. Now, I'm just going to lay it on here so I kind of know where it's going to go. And I'm just going to pick it up, and we're going to come in with our tuxedo black memento. And I'm trying not to get my head in here, so hopefully I lined it up. Almost, pretty good. So here's our little wings. So I'm going to pop these in here, and these cut out really easy. Punch out. And again, by the magic of TV, I've put these together. The wings simply fit right along the back of your ladybug. So if we move all this out of the way and bring our background back in, we're ready to add. So I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals because I want that dimension. Remember, I now have texture. I have some dimension with the color underneath of it, but I want to add a little bit more by popping this up. And I just think it looks so cute popped up. Yes, Kathy, these dies are really cool. I really love them. And they're so easy to use. So I'm going to take another smaller one, and let's see if I can get that right in here. And I'm going to pop these off. Now, because somewhere, look at my hands. That's going to be all over this card like it already is. And I'm not sure how I did that, but heaven knows I did. And before I get it on the card, I am going to take some hand sanitizer and get that off. Let's move this out of the way. And you can see the hand sanitizer does a nice job of taking it off. So somewhere in this desktop is my take your pick tool, but only heaven knows where it is right at this moment, because I couldn't find it right before we went on. And it may be the dog took it, who knows? He's easy to blame for that stuff. So let's pop this on here. And even though I have some red on there, it's going to cover it up. So there's our leaf. And you know what? I forgot to show you something, but I'll show you when we're done. You can add texture to this leaf by embossing it. And because I put the dimensionals on and had the ink on my hands, I forgot to do that. But I want to show you when we're done what it'll look like. And you'll be able actually to see the difference in the two. It'll be fun to know which one you like best. So with this little guy, he's going to lean on here. So I'm only going to add a couple dimensionals because he's going to lean up on that leaf. And then I have a couple other things to show you of how to add some texture and dimension. So let's get him on there. All right. And he's going to go right on here. All right. Now, I want to add a greeting, and I'm going to use this blank space to add my greeting. Now, the stamp set, I am using greetings from Hello Ladybug, and one is hello, and I want to place it where I want it. And the other one says my friend. So I want to be able to fit these on here. And I tend to do this quite often when I'm working in small spaces, is I figure out where I want to put my stamps. I place them on the front of my card. And then I'm going to take a block and pick them up. And you have perfect placement to stamp them. So, oh gosh, look at that. Oh, all right. We're going to go with it anyway, because I have another one and I'm going to show you. I have no idea where all that ink is coming from. So here's that. And I want to add some pearls to this. So I'm going to use my 2023 and 2025 in color dots. And I can't believe with the ink pad closed up, I even have this on me, but it's coming from somewhere. So let's go ahead and add our pearls. You know, today was going really well until just recently in the last few minutes. So things always seem to go like that. So I'm going to pick up my parakeet party. These are also retiring. I am going to put some on here, but I'm not going to put them all on because I'm so bummed having gotten that on there. But I am going to bring in a card that's exactly what I'm making to show you. So if you can see here with the leaf, I actually embossed that leaf, and I used the Stripes and Splatters embossing folder. And once I fussy cut the leaf out, I ran it through with the embossing folder, and look at the texture that you have on that leaf. It almost looks like you have some water on there, or just, you know, how leaves have some texture to them. Isn't that pretty? And so that's another way to get texture, is not just emboss a layer, but emboss some of your die cut pieces or your pieces that you fussy cut to add some texture to them. Emboss your designer series paper to add some texture. Hi, Denise. So you can see how I finished it up with the pearls. And then on the inside, I had another layer of Parakeet Party with the basic white. And I did use our little leaf again. And let me show you how I did that. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this little guy. This is the one with the feet. He is cute. And I'm going to ink him up. And I want to ink them up really well because I don't want any blank spots on this. And I'm going to go ahead and get him on there. And I'm lifting him up off the edge of my paper, so he's going to look like he's in the middle of the air. But I'm going to show you how we'll remedy that and fix that. Let's bring this doggone red back in. And see if I can keep it off my hands. I'm just going to line this up, give it a good press. Now, I want to add the leaf to this. So I'm going to bring my leaf back in, and I am going to ink it up with my green, but only part of it. And that looks pretty good. And it is going to get on my glass mat, but I want to add it right below where his feet are so that he looks like he's walking on grass or on the leaf. And this is what I love about the mat, because you can easily wipe it off. I simply take, I have a water spritzing bottle or my Stamp and Spray, wipe it off, and you're ready to go. So then I mounted him on my Parakeet Party, and that was the card you were supposed to see me finish that wasn't covered in red ink. So that's that one. But I want to show you something else. So for adding texture, we talked now about some background um, dies, but I want to talk to you about background stamps. And I'm not going to make a card, but I am going to show you how two ways in which to use them. The first one was rays of light. Now you can easily stamp this with just ink onto paper. And if you do that, you're going to have something that looks like this, where your sun is pretty flat, but you can see gives you some texture in there. But look what happens if you emboss it with Versamark and some white embossing powder. There's just a difference in the two. So that's another way to add some texture to your background. Now, I want to show you one more. And that background stamp is the sketched plaid, easily able to stamp with ink. But here I went ahead and stamped with Versamark ink, oops, backwards, and with gold embossing powder. And you have added texture through your embossing powder and a little bit of dimension. I've used the dies from the daisy, delightful daisy, or cheerful daisy, sorry about that. It adds some texture. And then even with my flower, I embossed it with gold embossing powder rather than stamping it with like the tuxedo black memento ink. So several ways here to add texture and some dimension to your cards. So let me bring you back to me here. So I hope you enjoyed some of the tips and tricks that you got today. I love the parakeet party color. Thank you, Denise. Just think of ways that you can add texture. And I really like the stamp embossing, the die cut image. Just really, really add something to that die cut. So I hope you enjoyed the tips and tricks. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe and well. And I will see you on Monday at 7 o'clock. Have a great weekend, everybody, and see you soon.